Hi friends, welcome to the Profitable Impactful Educator PIE series. This is an initiative to equip growth-oriented tutors to increase profitability, to deliver impactful transformative teaching, and to raise the standard of the tuition industry. If you are watching this, please share it with anyone who might benefit from this. This program is only possible with the dedicated support of my fellow community builder, Jeffrey Teo. Jeffrey, please say hi. Thank you, Jeffrey. Okay, in this episode, my friend Terence Chu. Terence, hello.
Hi.
Good to have you here. Okay, Terence is a fitness trainer and a health and nutrition coach. He will share his 5 tips to help your students to achieve peak performance in their learning and exam taking. Now, if you see that today my posture is a bit strange, right? That's because I'm talking to Terence, so I feel the need to stand up when I'm talking. Okay, so just a little bit of introduction about you, Terence. Okay, so Terence used to be suffering from a host of health conditions. He was excused from IPPT due to back problems and got sick almost every single month, needing frequent doctor visits and relying on pharmaceutical drugs. Terence did no regular exercises for 14 years after full-time national service. Only with a change of nutrition and exercise did he turn his life in the opposite direction. He has not needed to see a doctor in the past 4.5 years. That saves a lot of medical fees. His running timing for 2.4 now are faster than when he was 19 years old, serving full-time NS in the Singapore Police Force. The timing is, if you want to know, 8 minutes, 49 seconds. I've never come close to that, even in my best years. Okay, in this interview, Terence will be sharing tips with tutors and center owners on how to help condition your students to prepare their minds and bodies for exams, like how athletes prepare for sports competition to achieve peak performance. Okay, so a little bit of fun fact about Terence. In the past week, just a few days ago, Terence just broke 3 of his personal records from his peak during his track and field 68 days. Yeah, so personal best from very, very young days. He broke it at his current age, 3 of them in 1 week. Okay, so Terence, very, very good to have you here. I think
Thanks for having me.
I'm very happy that you are the first person that we interview in 2021. Because in 2020, all of us have been cooping up at home, because of the circuit breaker, and may not have been exercising enough and may have been eating a lot. Yeah. So over the holiday season, Christmas and all these things, maybe it's time for us to start looking at our health so that we can achieve more during this 2021. Okay. So Terence, before we begin, is there anything that you want to say to our audience?
Thanks for having me, Jason and Jeffrey. So I really appreciate it. And to all those tuning in, feel free to drop me any questions. This thing that I'm going to talk about today actually came about when I was thinking, how come students don't really prepare themselves in the same way that athletes do? And when I ask around my other educator friends, most of them have never read a book or seen a book that addresses this topic in a very detailed way. So I'm happy to share the contents of this unpublished book, unpublished material with all of you right now.
Is there going to be a book that you are writing?
Okay, here's what I think about books. Right now, I think short bite-sized videos seem to be more accessible and quickly consumed on TikTok, Instagram, and all that. So I'm thinking of turning that book into bite-sized videos and to make it accessible. And also because I guess maybe I'm more of a video person than a writing person.
Yes, I know. You just share your OBS tips with us.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you have your TikTok videos, right? So if anyone who's interested they can approach you to get the links and all these things.
Sure, I haven't really started anything on TikTok yet. I do use it, as a user, and I find it's similar to Instagram, but maybe a bit better in terms of the user interface. But many businesses are using it as a communication tool. So I think it's something to think about as well.
Right. Okay, great. Okay, but I digress. So I just want to start off by asking you, right? How do you really get into this health and fitness and nutrition career of yours and doing the work that you're doing?
Okay, thank you for your question. And I think for me personally, it started with two crises, medium-sized crisis. First one was in 2015 when I had very severe chest pain. It was a sharp pain, and I had to have very shallow breathing, and I had to sit down if I was talking. And in that time I was only in my mid-30s, and I had to go and see a cardiologist. I spent money, and all he told me was, "You're stressed. Relax." so, so okay, so that was what I had to work with. And then moving forward, I went to test my cholesterol. It was like way too high. And the second crisis was I had some knee issues. I had some pain in my knee when I was going up and down slope. And then I thought to myself, I'm in my mid-30s. What am I going to be in my 40s, in my 50s? Will I even be walking with my original knees when I'm 60 years old? So I think that for many people, when they have a personal or somebody else close to them have some crisis, that's where they start to take action. But the good news is you can also be inspired to take action. All right, that's the other way that people take action. They look at someone, they hear a story, and they go, "Wow, I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know you could reverse diabetes. You could get off cholesterol medication, high blood pressure medication, and so on." And then they start on a journey to try and do the same. Yeah, so we have a choice. We can inspire ourselves into action, or like not most people, including myself, you can wait for some crisis to happen, and then that will be very motivating in some way or the other. But my suggestion is not to wait for the crisis. Go the other way.
Okay. So did you like self-taught your all these things when you decided to get serious about your health and your fitness?
I think it was kind of like one thing at a time. So I had different people share different areas about health. Some were telling me about the importance of water, some about nutrition, some blending smoothies, and then I went to study nutrition and then exercise. So it didn't come all at once, but I added them bit by bit. And of course, you can learn all of this on your own. You spend hundreds of hours. But when I work with my clients, I really summarize everything into layman terms, without all the technical jargon and things that they can use immediately, and they feel confident in applying them right away without having to do those few hundred hours of study.
Wow, so it's a couple of few hundred hours. That's a couple of years, right? It must have taken you a couple of years to really gather all this information and get educated.
Yes. I did my certifications over several years, and of course, with hands-on practice, you always get better and better.
Okay. Sounds like there's no regret. Sounds like you are much happier now, and I can see that you are definitely in a very good shape now. Actually, I never really seen you as a very big size person. You have always been fit to me. It's just that I really can't connect, when you say that you have all these health problems.
Yeah, so I suppose that there are many other people who are suffering in that way. They are skinny fat or skinny unhealthy. Some people are a bit chubby, but they might be healthy. From the doctor's report, cholesterol, everything healthy. So we can't really judge. And I think the important thing is to know yourself and also to know where you want to be, right? To be intentional about it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, a quick shout out to our audience, right? If you have any questions about health and fitness and nutrition, from an educator's point of view, or if you're asking on behalf of your students, or even if you're a parent who are watching this, so do feel free to drop down any questions in the comments, or if you find that you have any friends or colleagues or someone that you know who might benefit from advice that Terence is going to share. He's going to share with us 5 tips. So if you know of anyone, please share the link of our YouTube live. With our Facebook live. Now, I want to move into the 5 tips, Terence. So can you tell us what's the first tip for tutors.
All right, so I'm going to switch screen. I'm using OBS, so I can do that. If you want to know what OBS is, I
Yeah, you can
think
please contact Terence.
that will be another session. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you think about athletes, they're very purposeful in what they do, and you know they spend so many hours training and you know sweat it out, blood, sweat, and tears. You know, and on the day of their performance, they need to do some things right, and also the day before, the few days before, they need to bring their bodies into a peak performance. And I'm thinking in the academic exam, it's the same thing. It's a high stakes exam. You only have one chance to take your high stakes exam in that topic, and then you will be assessed just based on that one, 3-hour paper. So why not spend time and invest time into doing what athletes do? Okay, so I have five words for you. The first one is think. Right, all the titles, the headings are in green. All right, so let me ask the audience, what thoughts come to your mind, you know, the night before the exam, or maybe 1 hour before, or during the exam? What kind of thoughts do you think people are experiencing? Jason, you work with the students a lot. Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, if they prepared well, then it will be probably think about what to do after the exams or which question to attempt first. If they didn't prepare, then probably it just be all the formulas that they wish they can remember. Yeah, that's for what I teach, like mathematics, but for other subjects, it may be different. Or maybe their brain just go dead because they didn't sleep well the night before.
Yeah, so that's the other category, which is very important. So the thing about thoughts is that we can't really control what comes into our mind, but you can decide what thoughts you want to stay in your mind, what thoughts you allow in your mind. For example, if you take the example of people who are doing public speaking or performing a piece of music, right? They are also going to feel nervous, you know, before the event. But what thoughts are allowed to stay in their mind is going to significantly affect their performance. Like what you said, if you're in a positive mood, if you're well prepared, you're going to feel better. You're generally going to perform better. And even if you have some negative thoughts like, oh, I forgot to study, like that little bit, you know, that or this thing I'm still not very clear about, you can focus like how musicians focus. You know, you have this amount of time. I prepared to the best of my ability, right? In the time that I have, and I'm there to do my best. Right? Instead of worrying like, I didn't study this last page, or somebody says something that, hey, I forgot to study that part, and then start worrying about it. Right? So it's really to know what's going on in your mind, and to put yourself in a position where you're really focused on what you can do instead of things that are not in your control.
Yeah, I remember that there was once in my university, right? I was taking this thermodynamics paper. So there we had like maybe 18 formulas with all the crazy 18 formulas. Is really, really hard to remember. So as I was walking to the exam hall, I remember that I was just going through the whole 18 equations and then just trying to cram them into my mind. And the first thing that I sit down is like grab a piece of paper and write down all the 18 or as many as I can remember. So that's the quality of my thought. And I didn't do well for that paper.
But this was which year was it?
Wow, which year was that? That was many years ago. When I was in uni, that must be 1999 or 2000, about there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do resonate with what you say. You know, the quality of your thoughts is really important.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, you need to know what you're going to say to yourself. Obviously, if you're not having the exam in the next few weeks, then you're going to think like, how are you going to prepare so that you have something good to say to yourself? So you mentioned, keeping pace, making sure that you're on pace for the exam and not waiting for, the last moment to get everything done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
okay,
the next one, right?
Next one.
The next one, yeah. Drinking. Do you do you have a habit of having your students bring in a bottle of water for the exam, things like that, or do they do that automatically?
Well, this is an interesting point because I know there are some tutors or some parents, right, even they tell their children not to drink during the exams or before the exams because you don't want to
Mm.
waste time going to toilets.
Mm. So,
Yes.
so what is your own personal idea around this?
Well, um, actually, to me, I think it's important to drink in because I know that our brain is mostly made out of water, right? So if you are dehydrated, obviously your brain is not going to work very well. Um, and well, to me, I think I'm more concerned about the next word. That's next thing you are going to share. That's about eating. Yeah, but for
Okay.
drinking, I'm okay. You know, I think sometimes if you go to toilets during the exams, they actually give you a break from
Mm.
the stress of doing the paper. So you may come back more refreshed. I don't know.
Sure. So when it comes to staying hydrated, I think um, one of the I think one of the rules is that you cannot bring in sweet drinks, right? You have to bring in water, right? So that isn't I mean in the exam hall, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. You can only bring in water, right?
Well, this one I'm not quite sure
Should be government school. You can bring in water, but you cannot bring in like Coca-Cola or whatever.
because
So
unfair advantage is it?
no. So yeah, you need to examine like what are the beverages you drink. I think generally if you drink water or maybe lightly flavored with a bit of fruit, a bit of lemon, squeeze a bit of lemon, lime just to make it more refreshing. I think that's fine.
All right.
But what beverages you drink does make a difference. Okay, so the first one, maybe whether you drink at all or you just dehydrate yourself. Now, in sports, if you are dehydrated, do you perform better or worse?
Of course, worse. Of course.
So, what makes us think that academic exam is any different? We are not going to perform as well if we are dehydrated. So of course, the other extreme is to overhydrate yourself, right? You drink too much, and you're always going to the toilet, and that is of course a situation where you want to avoid. You don't want to overdrink. Um, so my thinking is this: if you are able to know what is your okay, let's say it's a long paper, right? Let's say it's a 3 hour paper. It's common, right, to have a 3 hour, 2 hour paper. Yes.
3 hours more like A levels. 2 hours is O level. There are 2 hour papers. Yes.
Okay, so 2 to 3 hours. All right. So in this time, all right, probably some people will feel that as they go towards the later part of the exam, their thinking start to slow down. Like,
Uh huh.
you know, that the first hour is like, still fresh, right? But now they're dehydrated, or let's say they haven't been drinking for quite a while, and then they feel tired or they're a bit foggy, all right? Part of that could be due to dehydration, or it could be due to the other four things. So, how much you drink really depends on your sweat rate. Okay, and again, this is as an athletic term, right? If somebody who is taller, is bigger, probably going to perspire more. Somebody who is a bit smaller, probably don't need so much fluid. And you need to find out what is that right amount, how much you can drink over like 2 hours or 3 hours without having to make multiple toilet visits. I agree with you. If you make one at maybe at the most two toilet visits, it can have an impact. First of all, you have a mental break, and then sometimes when you don't think so much, your subconscious mind go and think of that problem while you're
Yes.
walking to the toilet,
Definitely.
right? Second thing is you are getting more blood flow, right? Your whole body is moving, right? You're not in the same position. So that's the second advantage. Then third advantage is it's kind of like a side advantage. You feel a bit more confident because you have time to go to the toilet and come back and still get the job done and still score well. So that's a side point.
Okay.
But yeah, but the answer to this question, how much do you drink, really depends on your sweat rate, and you need to experiment on your own. You can do this. Let me see. Yeah, you can practice drinking. On your own. How much is too much, and then you want to experiment whether is it a 2 or 3 hour paper. It's going to be different. And uh, you need to be quite accurate with this, right? If you exceed by 20-30%, then that could mean more frequent toilet visits. So this is common, right? Doing a mock paper, practice exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can stand by, whatever amount of water you want to test with, and then you want to sip, right? You don't want to gulp. You just want to take sips every now and then. If you mentally you're a little bit tired, it's time to take a sip of water. Now, almost all the brands I know for water bottles require two-hand operation. There are a few brands that only you need to use only one hand. You just flick something and then you drink. So if you really want to save time, that will save time a few seconds, right? Because the other fella is doing this, right? You are writing the answer and then you continue. Yeah. So if you want a time saver, time is really important. You can consider getting. I think there's a couple of brands that are single hand operation. So
Okay.
look out for those.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
If you need the exact name, I can go and find it and give it to you later. Okay, let me see what's there. Okay, so the other one is, what should you avoid drinking? Have you heard of students like using special drinks to give themselves a kick? Have you heard of those?
I know I see advertisements about those chicken essence. Chicken
Yeah.
essence, is it counted?
I mean, what should you avoid drinking? I think chicken essence is okay if you are used to drinking it and it doesn't upset your stomach. You're fine with it. The main rules are, don't drink something new that you have never drunk before. Same with eating, right? Don't try something new on the day of your exam, right? Don't be asking for trouble. Just stick to those things that don't give any problem. But you should avoid drinking things that will give you a spike in your sugar level. Like, avoid drinking things that are very sweet. You'll get a sugar rush, you'll get a high, and before you reach the middle of the paper, you'll start to experience a crash. And
Wow,
that's
speaking
definitely
of,
something.
yeah, I know of a few students of mine, right? They love to drink Red Bull before the paper, or when they
Yeah.
are studying at night. Yeah. So
Mm.
is it advisable?
Yeah. So even if it's not going to be an exam, I wouldn't reach for that kind of drink, simply because it doesn't fall into the category of natural sugar. Let's say if you have a drink that is made from fruit juice, for example, that's natural, right? Red Bull will be highly processed, very quickly absorb sugar. It might be useful in certain instances. For example, if you're digging a trench in BMT and you need a boost, maybe. But when you're thinking about an exam paper where you have to, you want to be consistent. You want your energy level to be, relatively consistent. You don't want a spike and then a crash. So I definitely wouldn't reach for Red Bull if I were doing an exam. I'll just drink water. And based on my nutrition, I know that my energy level is going to be consistent. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we get to the eating part, then I'll throw in a little bit more info on that.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So avoid drinking things that will spike your sugar level. Anything that's like overly sweet, and avoid drinking too much as well. Don't overdrink. Don't underdrink.
Okay, so you need to practice during your normal mock papers, or even during maybe tuition classes, which is usually about 1.5 to 2 hours long. Practice drinking.
Yeah, basically you got to know yourself lah. I used to have like a lot of sore throat, cough, phlegm, fever, every month. And when I did two things, one was I removed dairy. I discovered 36 years after birth that I was lactose intolerant to some extent. What a late discovery, right? No health professional have ever told me that maybe you are like this. So anyway, I discovered that in my nutrition study. Then the second thing is that I realized that I was always like chronically dehydrated. I wasn't drinking enough water, and you can tell whether you're drinking enough by the number of toilet visits per day. Generally, every 2 to 3 hours. So that's anywhere from 5 to 7 times per day. If you're going 20 to 30 times a day, too much water. If you're going to pass urine less than 3-4 times a day, the color of the urine is very dark, then you're probably severely dehydrated. And I mean, like if you get sore throat or if you get sick, then that's a whole day that you can't really do anything, or you can't function, where you would normally want to function.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, now we get to the eating part, right? This is a big thing, but you can't eat in the exam venue. You can drink, so that's why we spend a little bit more time talking about the drinking part. So eating, do you, Jason? Do you have a habit of like being very particular about what your students eat?
No, actually, I never thought that my advice can extend to that area of their life. But now we come to talk about that. I feel that it's just like they are just in a way they're athletes. They have to perform at their peak performance. So why not? I mean, I will just coincidentally I was just reading this. I just recently completed a course taught by Professor Barbara Oakley. She is talking about learning how to learn, and one of the principles is actually to increase your learning performance. Right, we have to sleep well, and we have to exercise regularly. So that is that's why now I tell all my students, in order to do well in math, right, you have to make sure that you exercise and you sleep well. Yeah. So does that count?
Yes. But it's always how we invite them to consider it that will influence the how much they buy into our our suggestion. Because I also work with teenagers, and I learned one thing. Teenagers will never do what you ask them to do. They will only do what they have decided to do. So our job as coaches, educators, is to give them a thought process and help them to make good decisions. They will never do what we ask them to do. They will only do what they decide to do. So that's what we want to go for. We want to show them the choices and what are the potential outcomes. What is the research? What does the science say? Right? The science says this. So if you disagree with me, you're wrong. I've heard that somewhere. I'm just copying someone. Okay, so like when to eat and how much to eat. Like, have you ever experienced food coma before in your life?
Oh yeah, every afternoon.
Okay. So then, like how much to eat, right? You wouldn't want to eat so much that you get into a food coma. Yes, sometimes we get carried away, but if you're doing your high stakes major exam, you want to think about what you're eating. Of course, you don't have to buy the most expensive food, but you do need to know, like, is it a 90-minute paper? Is it a 3-hour paper? Is your stomach going to rumble at the end of the 3 hours? Are you going to get distracted? So you need to plan. You need to know yourself. Again, I can't give you a numerical answer, right? You do need to experiment and know yourself. Okay, so back to the food coma. What kind of food helps you experience this food coma? I'll tell you mine. But what does it for you?
Well, for me, it's anything that's like pasta, too much rice, noodle, all the carbohydrates generally will cause food coma.
For me, the most effective one for food coma is having a double portion of noodles,
Right.
la mian in particular. Within 45 minutes, it'll be like, oh, shut down. Oh.
Yeah.
If I have like one portion or maybe a bit less, I don't really feel anything. But when you overload on fast digesting carbohydrates, this is what happens. If you're eating slow digesting carbohydrates, then what's going to happen is the food's going to take a bit longer to digest. You're not going to have the sugar spike and and crash. It's going to be more sustained. And anyway, since we're talking about that, I do have, as far as what I do for my nutrition coaching, I do give clients this the personalized nutrition report that includes a list of carbohydrates that they can eat freely and those that they want to eat less. So it kind of looks like different colors. The one on the green zone is stuff that you can eat more. The one in the orange, you want to eat some, and those that are red, you want to eat less. So it takes out the guesswork in finding out what they want to eat.
Okay.
Right. And
so I see in your background that you have a question coming up.
Yeah, this one is should I try new foods on my exam day? Well, just like the drink, obviously answer is no, unless you wanna be surprised. Yeah, don't try anything new. And even if it's offered to you, just try and stick to what you're. I mean, that you only have one chance to ace your this particular topic. Just stick to what you. Same with the athletes. You don't try new foods when you are doing your ultra running. Just stick to those that your body respond well to. And what works for me may not work in the same way for you. So you must personalize this knowledge, even within the family. What works for your sibling may not work for you in the same way, right? So you do
Right.
need to understand yourself. And some people have allergies; they can't eat peanuts. Is a peanut healthy? Yes, but to a person who's allergic, the airways start to swell or whatever it is. They want to avoid that. So you need to personalize nutrition knowledge, right? Your personal truth is the most important truth. It is a higher priority than the universal truth. Because we are unique individuals. We are not universal people. We are unique individuals. We need to personalize all of this.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please do not try any new food on your exam day. Just stick to the things that are okay, and you should be fine. All right. Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure. Before we move on, right, just want to
Yeah.
remind all our audiences out there, whether you are educators or students or your parents, you find what you are listening, what you are getting from Terence very useful to help you to prepare better for exams. Please feel free to share our link, and also if you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment. Later we'll come to a Q&A section. Okay, so Terence, let's just move on to advice number 4.
Okay, wait, before we get to number 4, two things. So there's one more category of food that you might want to avoid. I know a lot of people in Singapore, they like spicy food. Depending on how your body reacts to it, you may want to avoid spicy food during your exam, so that you can be more comfortable and focused. The other thing is a question I want to ask you. So you've seen these 3 things, and this is number 4. Do you think that if a student totally ignores like all 5 of these things, do you think it will have like a 1% drop in their performance for each of these areas?
Sorry, you're saying that totally ignore.
Yeah, they don't sleep well.
Don't think well, they don't sleep well.
Eat, don't drink.
Wow.
They just do the opposite. Do you think they would suffer at least like a 1 percentage point drop in each?
Well, I would say definitely more than
than
1. It can even be a great drop. Maybe you can't think straight in exams, no matter how much you have learned. I don't think that you will do very well.
I tend to agree, especially with this particular next word here. And so my theory is that if you really pay attention to these 5 areas, and if each area helps you, right, with no additional studying, right, you're studying the same number of hours. If each area helps you to increase your performance, your thinking speed by 1%, you have a 5% increase. 5% is 1 grade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it will make a difference. Okay, so
if you compound it, it's even more than 5%.
Yeah, so if you are not really paying special attention to this area of exam preparation, then the good news is that your potential is higher than you have experienced before. And you just got to do the work. You just got to put in the work to get this thing done, and to really know yourself. It might seem like a bit too much if you're if you're kind of the person that's satisfied with a bit okay already, I can. But if you really want like to reach your full potential, then you really want to pay attention to all this, not just for your exam, but for your life as well. Okay, so when it comes to rest, I think Jason, you mentioned about somebody talking about the importance of rest. So here's the $1 million question: should I be sleeping even though I didn't study every single line in the textbook? Or should I just study more and don't bother about the sleep as long as I finish everything? So what do you see students tend to do?
Well, if you ask me, Ryan, what I witness is that given the local culture, you have to be really the coolest cucumber to be able to say to everyone, I haven't finished studying, but I'm going to sleep anyway. It's really very rare to find to find this kind of mentality.
That would me.
Most people will just say that no, I just burn midnight oil. Yeah.
So the my personal story was this. This was when I was 17 years old. I heard everyone is doing this. Everyone is staying up the whole night. So okay lah, try lah. And this was a mid-year exam paper. So high stakes, but not that high lah. You know, I can still experiment. So I studied through the night. I mean, I fell asleep. I got tired anyway. And then I went to take the paper. And for the first time in my life, I held the pen in my hand and I just froze for half an hour. I knew what the answer was. The hand could not move. As in, like I had never experienced that before. And after that day, also after flunking that paper, I never planned to do it in this way again. Because it was scary because I knew the answer, but the hand just didn't move. Like, you know, it just wouldn't write. So I've heard of this before, but that was the first time I experienced it. And definitely, if you do your research, you know, if you're walking around without enough sleep, it's equivalent to being intoxicated. Like, you know, you had some beers and you had alcohol in your system. You can't really think and respond in the same way. Your reaction time is different than somebody who has had a good night rest and is alert and can recall information faster. So I guess it depends on from person to person. Maybe some people can pull it off, or they're lying. I don't know. I don't know which is which. You know, they're lying about like, oh, I stay awake the whole night. Actually, they were sleeping. So I don't know. Is that a strategy to distract everyone else? I don't know. But I would suggest that you know, you get a good sleep. Now, it's of course easy to say have a good sleep before the exam. It's kind of like telling someone who's getting married the next day, hey, sleep early. You're supposed to do that. You're excited, maybe you're worried, maybe a bit of both, you know.
Yeah.
And so how do you do that on a normal day? You know, it's probably easy. You just you know, go off to sleep and that's it. So what do you do? All right, so I would suggest you experiment with a sleep routine. So it's just like, you know, when you wake up, unless you're in national service, when you wake up, you need some time to, like, you know, start your engine, unless you're in national service. And so, like, if you're going to sleep, you need some time to, like, wind down, right? You can't, like, you know, do a fast run, sprint, and then go lie down on your bed and expect to fall asleep instantly. You do need to have that routine to calm yourself down. And there are many different strategies, many different ways. There are different breathing techniques. You can listen to you know, light soothing music. You can read a book. You can walk around. One of the most interesting one was ideas that I heard of and I tried is tapping. You tap yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not counting ships.
No, that like stimulate the brain. So this one is like you're relaxed and you know, you tap yourself, but you know, you want to relax. So like your muscle is working and it's kind of like it helps some people to get to sleep really quickly. This is from a musician, you know, so tapping. Yeah, like keeping a rhythm. After a while, you just like knock off. So there are many different techniques, and it's good to try different ones. You know, some parents might even be users of essential oils, you know, to help them relax. So you can use that as well. But again, don't do new things just before the exam. Yeah, get used to it so that you know you have to prepare a bit more when you're excited and nervous for the next day, a high stakes exam, or even for athletic meet. So even I have struggled if I have a race the next day. First of all, you need to get up earlier. Then second of all, you're so excited, right? You train so many months for this thing. You know, you studied so long for this test. You're excited, so you do need to pay special attention and practice the different sleep routine.
Yeah, you mentioned about reading, right, to help you to get to sleep. So I suppose it's not reading about the to prepare for tomorrow's exam.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want to read something that is not relevant to what you're doing the next day. Maybe you know, you're reading the good book. You're reading a story. Preferably, you know, not reading some world news about some challenging event. You want something that's relaxing, You also don't want to read an exciting story. You just want to relax yourself and read something that you don't have to, like if you read a business book, oh, then your mind will be like fired up. Oh, think of business ideas, then then that won't work. Let's say, for example, if you are studying business, you want something that will help you to relax. Yeah.
Okay. So no adventure stories, I suppose.
Not unless you want to stay awake. Yeah,
A
like
page turner, I read until 3 a.m.
yeah. So I guess again, you need to understand yourself. Some people respond better to reading. I
Uh-huh.
find doing a bit of walking in the evening, relaxing.
Hmm.
Some people would not use their screens for like half an hour to 1 hour before their bedtime, right? That also helps because any kind of exposure to light stimulates the brain and makes it harder to sleep.
Hmm.
So I'm
Okay.
guilty of this.
Hmm.
My sleep, when you look at all the five different areas, my sleep is the one with the lowest score as compared to the others. Yeah, so we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, but it's good to have standby some different strategies that we can deploy when we need to get to sleep earlier for a
Yeah,
big
sounds like
paper.
preparation is key. Yeah, no matter what you do, a preparation and rehearse well in advance is the key.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if you show up for a race and you don't plan to win, you just like, okay, I'll just show up. That's like, okay, I show up for the exam and see what happens. But if you are if you're very determined to get the most out of, like, you only take your O level once or A level, whatever exam, most people, right, 99.9% of people just take it once. And if you really want to give it your best, you need to prepare your body, right? Your mind has stored the information, right? It knows what to do. But if your body is not rested, you don't have the nutrition, right? You don't have enough sleep. Just like you touch your mobile phone, right? You charge halfway, then you have half the power,
Hmm.
right? If you want to have be fully charged, then you need to factor that into what's going on the day before the exam, the eve of your exam.
Is there such a thing called over resting? Like before exams, slept too much until your brain can't function.
Okay, so this would probably be rare. I do know of people suffering from some chronic conditions, and they sleep like 14 hours a day, way more than 8 hours, and that can also be negative. So
Hmm.
you want to get your sleep cycles in. If you're sleeping 7.5 hours, that's about 5 sleep cycles. If you're sleeping
Hmm.
9 hours, that's about each sleep cycle is about 90 minutes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that explains why sometimes if you wake up in the middle of the sleep cycle, although you have slept a lot, you can feel more tired than if you have slept for only 6 hours, but you have 4 complete sleep cycles. Yeah. So when you set the alarm, right, you also want to calculate that plus minus 15 minutes. You're around these 90 minutes times how many cycles.
Hmm. Okay, okay.
I
Wow.
don't. Have you ever felt that, like, sometimes you sleep long but you don't feel?
Yeah. It puzzles me. It's like sometimes I fell asleep when I'm tucking my daughters to bed, and then
Mm.
I knock out at maybe what 10 p.m. and then I wake up the next day 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, depends on whether it's school days or not. And I felt
Mm.
tired, and I felt I wasted my whole night sleeping. It's like,
Mm.
why sleep when you wake up feeling tired? So, it
Okay,
puzzles
so
me.
one reason could be the timing that you wake up, but a bigger reason could be dehydration. People
Okay.
who are dehydrated tend to wake up, although they sleep enough hours, they tend to wake up tired. That
Ah,
could be a reason. Yeah, but I don't know, right? We need to find out what's the root cause, then you can go and solve it.
mm, okay.
But it's a
That
famous one. And it's quite easy to spot. You just ask people, how often do you need to go to toilet. And if they say like 3 times a day, 4 times a day, dehydrated. Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Right. So maybe we move on to the next one. Uh,
okay. The
yeah.
last one is exercise. So this one, there has been a lot of research shown um, that exercise does impact academic performance. But in particular, this particular research shows that if you're going to have increased blood flow just 20 to 30 minutes before you take your paper, right, there's more mental and cognitive activation than if there was no exercise at all.
Wow.
So
You have to unpack this. You have to unpack this for me.
So what that means is, if you did a brisk walk as you're moving to the exam venue, you have more blood flow. You're probably going to process faster than if you had not done any kind of light exercise on the day of the exam.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's 2 points, right? The first point is exercise makes a difference to your academic results. Period. Right. Full stop. The other one is, if you do some light exercise before the exam, it's going to benefit you more than if you didn't do any kind of exercise at all. Which means you did not raise your heart rate, right? You didn't get more blood flow. Yeah. So they did a study on this.
So, okay, on this point, then how should people take a 3 hours paper? Because 3 hours sitting down there scribbling furiously, that's hardly exercise. Right? There could be not a lot of blood flow going on.
Yeah, so then that brings us to the point where, maybe if you didn't even need to go to the toilet to pass urine, maybe you just went there for a walk and to wash your face and come back, so that you're refreshed, you have an excuse to move around, right? Get your body moving, get some blood flow, and take a mental break away from the problem. Sometimes, when you get stuck, that might be the best time to take a break, because sometimes the thing that we are trying to recall, right? If you forget something, thing that you're trying to recall, you can't recall when you force it. But when you're doing something else, then okay, now I know I forgot already. Sometimes the mind needs a bit of a break, and I think it's perfectly fine, especially for the longer papers, right? That 2-minute toilet break or 3-minute toilet break is not going to be like the end of your your marks. You're still going to have another 177 minutes instead of 180 minutes to do your paper. So it could be some, yeah.
Yeah, if this interview is watched by many people, then I think we can expect that the exam hall will see more people going to the toilet.
I used to be that person who would get up and just take a walk, just because I felt like I just needed to move, to walk and just take a mental break. And in school, I was in track and field, so I would from place to place, I'll usually run, just out of habit, just because it's faster. I'll just jog, So that's what I do. Sometimes even now, if I need to get to some place, I'll just run there. So it does help. Yeah. So we talked about what the studies have shown, and also do some light exercise. If you don't get a chance to brisk walk, then maybe you could just do 1 or 2 sets of push-ups, or do a little bit of jumping jacks in the corner. People think you're weird, but who cares, right? You're the one that's earning the marks, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe you should make this like a school-wide thing.
Okay.
Book.
Yeah.
I think I'll send you the link to that book. This place in the US, they did a exercise program in the entire district, right? So this area, right, they were exercising more frequently and running more regularly than other school districts, and as a whole, their grades went up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that there is this common belief that studying is a very mental activity. So when people do very well in exams, we say you got good brains, you have a good mind, you have a great mind. But we don't hear people saying that, you have a great body, that's why you do well in school, right? In exams, unless we are talking about PE. Yeah. So it's all connected, right? It's all connected. So what I'm hearing from you.
Of course. I mean, your the better your body can perform in terms of how you treat it, how you nourish it. I mean, if you think of like pets, right? Most people will have either a friend or maybe they have a pet. You know that you need to give your pet water. You need to give them certain kind of food. Other kind of food is not good for them. They will drop hair or they'll get sick. So if we care for our pets in that way, why don't we do the same thing for ourselves? Right? Take care of your body and put it in the best position to succeed, whether is it your everyday life or whether is it a high stakes exam. Give yourself a chance to reach your fullest potential by really taking care of the body.
Okay. So I want to extend this a little bit. To all our audiences out there, okay, if you're an educator, if you're a tutor, so I think, Terence, I would like to ask you whether is it true that in order to have better performance in our teaching career, to teach better, we also need to have a certain kind of fitness routine, to have a healthy body, so that we can, I don't know, maybe it's like we are able to teach more effectively. Not just our brain will work better. I think our overall somehow is able to come across to be more effective, to as a more effective teacher. Am I making sense here?
I think because I have felt what it's like to have very low level of energy, always tired, fail IPPT even a few years ago. So definitely being fitter, eating well, resting well, it does carry out in terms of my energy when I go to class, when I'm working with clients. It's a different level of energy than before. So you're going to be more confident and you're going to be a role model to the people that you work with. But most importantly, you're going to be there for your family. And I think all these things, right? All these achievements that I was aiming for, I was wanting to collect this so I can tell my children and I can tell my grandchildren, I did this for you, so that daddy can be around, or grandpa next time, right? Can be around to play with you. And if I know about nutrition, right, I'll be able to make sure that my kids also know about the same things, how to take care of their body, how to eat well. And I think that's the most valuable thing. Of course, in our career, in the people that we work with, they benefit, but the greatest benefit is your immediate family, and knowing that you can be there for them, and you're keeping your body strong. Yeah. So the question is, yeah,
I wish that all tutors or all educators that I know, in fact, all parents will hear this and really keep ourselves strong and healthy for the sake of our children and our students. Yeah. Okay. So I would like to ask you right next. Would you have any interesting stories that really make a deep impact in your career as a health, fitness, nutrition coach that you can share with us, that illustrates the advices?
well, I can think of one story when I was at one of my weakest point. I couldn't even do a single push-up. I had to do push-ups with my knees on the floor. That was when I was really starting from zero. My auntie was sharing, rather my cousin shared a video of my auntie, 72 years old, doing 20 push-ups with the knees off the floor. So like the guy push-ups and standard push-ups. And
how old is how old?
72. And my uncle from the same side, my dad's side, also about the same age, is biking, is running. And to me, that was like, wow, I'm half their age. I can't do anywhere what they can do. And so it's so important. You cannot overlook, right, your influence in your own family. Even if they didn't say anything, even if they did not, speak directly to you to encourage you to do some exercise, just by your example, just by how you lead your life, you can be a great inspiration to your family members, to your friends, to the circle of people that you're around. So I think that's another powerful thing. And we never know how we have impacted somebody else unless that person come and tell us, hey, you share this story, right? Well, then because of that, I start running. But you really don't know. All you know is if you never do anything, right, then nothing will happen. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I think this is especially remarkable, right? Because you shared that you were in track and field, so you were not like since young you were obese or overweight. You were actually very fit, but then there come to a point that you, because of years of neglect, may I say that,
yes,
that or ignorance about this knowledge about fitness, health, nutrition, that you find it challenging to do push-ups. So interestingly, I find that that happens to some of the people I know who were athletes when they were in school. But to them, exercising means CCA. So after their CCA stopped, they don't have any programs anymore to kind of force them into the habit of running or exercising. So they kind of like, for them, fitness is a taken for granted kind of thing. There is no need to put extra effort because CCA will take care of all these things. So I do see that your journey happening to some of my friends in school.
Yeah, I think it's very common. Sometimes we get very focused on our work, and we forget that we have a body that that is helping us do the work. So, like I say again, sometimes when the pain is not when the aches and pains are not painful enough, we don't really pay attention. But when like what I experienced, I have a severe chest pain, at my heart, then that really got my attention. So, my suggestion is to find some movement that you enjoy doing, and don't do it for the sake of exercise. Do it because you want to get stronger, and you want to play some sport, you want to do individual sport or team sport, you want to be able to move around, play with your kids, whatever it is. And our bodies are meant for moving, right? Not seated down for long hours. So we do need to have some of that. And if you exercise to get energized, then you're going to look for exercise every day. If you exercise to exhaustion, you're going to do it for one day and then you're going to call it quits. So exercise to get energized. Yeah.
So for our audience out there, if you have any questions that about the things that Terence has been talking about, please feel free to contact Terence. You can drop him a call. He has his mobile phone. That's his preferred way of getting in touch. So if he doesn't answer your call, it means that he's training his client, most probably. Yeah, so he will return your call after that. Yeah, so that's how to get in touch with him. Now, next one I want to ask Terence, right? Terence, do you have anyone that you're looking for, especially that you think that you may value add to their lives?
Okay, I've been in the coaching and education industry for a long time, so I know that sometimes when we focus so much on our students, we can forget about taking care of ourselves, our body. So I like to work with and get connected with educators who maybe they feel like a dip of energy over the last few years, maybe loss of strength, tired more easily, or having a lot of new aches and pains, and maybe unable to find a sustainable way to exercise, and tired of diets. So I'm looking for these people, and I think I can help them. I don't believe in diets. I just believe in better nutrition, good quantity and good quality nutrition. And like I said, exercise to get energized, and you'll look for exercise every day.
Okay. Yeah, this is the look for the fun in what you do, right? The benefits, the fun. Don't see it as a chore.
I actually have another slide. Let me see if I can show. It's just 5 words. Let me hit that button. Okay.
And we also have some comments. Some viewers actually have some questions for you. So we'll come to that.
Okay. Maybe we can have a quick look at that, because I do need to go and meet a client soon. Okay, so very quickly, these 5 words, these are the things that you really need to know if you want to be successful this year, is to find a way of eating healthy and tasty foods that you enjoy, a way of moving your body, a way of exercising. If you don't like swimming, go and run. If you don't like running, go and swim, or whatever it is, just get started. You must be able to fit into your life. So I know that you've read, 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. Sometimes you might have longer duration to exercise. Sometimes you have only 10 minutes. But find something that you can fit into your life that's suitable for you. So if you're having some prior conditions, right, you might want to speak with a doctor or health professional first before embarking on any exercise routine. And it must be suitable to challenge your goals and suitable for your personality, basically. Right? If you like low intensity stuff, you do high intensity work, you're not going to enjoy it at all. And the other way around is true. Support. This is the key thing, right? Having a supportive environment, having friends, having a coach, having a family support what you're doing, Having your best friend hold you accountable is going to make it so much easier and much more fun than if you just do it alone, you don't tell anyone, and you just try and surprise everyone. It's probably not going to work as well. Probably surprise in the opposite direction. It's probably not going to work as well as if you build that support. And if you watch some of my other videos that I posted on Facebook, I do talk about how you can have a conversation with your in-laws when it comes to food. Okay, enough about that. And finally, do it in a sustainable way, right? We're doing this for the long run. We're not dieting for like 3 months or exercising just to squeeze into clothes that we like, but something that you want to feel confident in doing over the long term. Yeah, so this is the formula.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, 5 word, short and sharp. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's come to the questions. All right. So we have a question from Joey. Joey asks, what is your take on health supplements such as omega-3 and vitamin C?
Okay, this is a broad question. I will always answer with 2 words. I'll say it depends. If you are lacking in it, then maybe you should take it. If you are not lacking in it, then there might not be a need to take it. So taking health supplements must be very purposeful. If you want to know a bit more, you can contact me. I spent a few $100s on this report. It's 1,800 pages. It will go through the different health supplements according to the supplement name and the disease condition. So you can search under omega-3, suitable for what? Or you can search for like high cholesterol, what supplement is suitable to naturally lower cholesterol. I can share that with you if that helps. Okay, what's the next one?
Okay, the next one is about coffee. So what do you think about coffee?
What about coffee? What about coffee?
I mean, it's a suitable drink. Should we avoid it?
Okay, it really depends on how your body processes the coffee. You see, somehow you're going to be irritated. It depends. The problem with coffee is that some people are slow metabolizers, which means that if I drink coffee now, I won't be able to sleep. Other people are fast metabolizers. They drink coffee now and they can sleep in 30 minutes or maybe even right away. So the problem with coffee isn't the problem with coffee. It's how your body processes the coffee. And you would know, right? If you drink coffee in the evening, you cannot sleep, you are a slow metabolizer. Coffee probably will have fewer positive benefits, more negative benefits than somebody who is a fast metabolizer. Yeah. Generally, I think those who want to drink coffee, you might want to stick to like maybe 1 cup in the morning. I know some people who overdrink coffee like 5, 6, 7 cups a day, and that's probably like, going to the extreme. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, this looks like our Jeffrey. Is he our Jeffrey?
Sorry. This is Jeffrey. That's right. And Jeffrey has a very cute dog.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I think we have come to the close of this interview. I've learned so much from you. I'm sure that our audience can learn more from you. If they have any questions, they will contact you. Right. Then maybe to set up some more time to talk about this. Okay, so as we draw to the close, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you, Terence, for joining us the very first interview of the year. And thank Jeffrey for performing all the technical wizardry to make this possible. I would like to thank our audiences for joining us. Any one of you who tune in for this show, thank you very much. And I wish you a very happy and productive and prosperous 2021. We hope that you have benefited from today's sharing. And please share with us your key takeaway in the comment section. Get in touch with Terence if you have any further questions. We'll be back on the 15th of January 2021 with more great tips from Benedict, who is a book publishing expert. And Benedict will share about how to launch a book writing career, or just as if you want to establish yourself as authority by writing books. Remember to like and follow our Facebook and to be informed of what is upcoming. So we do have a series of great experts to share with you. So thank you, Terence, again. Have a good session with your client. Thank you for squeezing time to talk to our audiences. And thank you. See you next week. Stay safe, everyone, and take care.
Bye.
Bye.